One of the exhibits in this show that means the most to me, they've been at home for 10 years, is this extraordinary burst of colour and activity on the back wall. They represent what is called the Muses, figures from antiquity and classical mythology who inspired the arts and science. And they were painted in around about 1920 by Vanessa and Duncan together. They both worked with brushes at the same time. And they were for John Maynard Keynes' rooms at Cambridge. Maynard Keynes being a really central figure of the Bloomsbury group, even had his own room at Charleston. Although these panels had a specific purpose, they were the studies, the modelli, the smaller images for what would then be translated into big full-length images in Maynard Keynes' rooms. I think they're more than just about decorating and indicating what an amazing man John Maynard Keynes was, because in all their various attributes, they seem to cover every single aspect of art, science and creativity in a sort of non-specific but nonetheless very communicative way. And in this respect, and I think this is why they're so important in this exhibition, they just show the cerebral range of the Bloomsbury group. You know, what we're seeing here in a allegorical, in a symbolic form, is just what a thrilling group of people they were. Knowing these as I do so well they're in our sitting room and we've sort of decorated the room around it. One of the great sort of tests is, what does each one mean? But if you look, you know, you've got music here on the right, you've got a classical figure thinking, scratching his head. In the top left-hand corner, you have a man holding what looks like a globe. You have scrolls, documents, columns, flags. So clearly what they were doing is having an enormous amount of fun trying to work out, as artists do, all the sort of symbolic messages to convey what this was about, which is intelligence, it's creativity, it's the arts, it's everything that they stood for. Another game that we play at home looking at these wonderful paintings is trying to work out which are by Vanessa and which are Duncan. I have to say, after a lot of thought, I think almost certainly the women are painted by Vanessa. I mean, if you look at that very Matisse-inspired figure in the bottom left-hand corner, that does seem to me stylistically to suggest her. And then if you look at the men, well, the men are very slightly different. And as we know, Duncan very much enjoyed the company of men. He was a great painter of male nudes. And I think this is quite likely to be by Duncan. But it's worth just pointing out how radical Duncan is being. You know, he's fusing all of these influences, but he's using some of the tricks of modernism. And I think here he is particularly influenced by the primitivism, as it's described, of Picasso. You know, what is actually rather remarkable is how they all managed to stay together. One of them was lost at one point and then rejoined the group. And we thought long and hard about how to present them in this exhibition and have decided to do so by setting them into panel like this. And the result is, although of course they all work individually with their slightly ambiguous messages, it's wonderful to see them monumentalized like this way as a group. Maynard Keynes, the clever man he was, must have loved them.